Okay, I know that this channel is called Kate in Fantasylands, and that I've said that if something doesn't have magic users, people with pointy ears who live longer than normal people, gods walking among mortals, or if we're scraping the bottom of the barrel, someone who looks really young but is actually incredibly old, then it isn't material for this channel. But since Genshin made a collaboration with Duolingo, I felt I could speak about this. Let me start by saying this. You can definitely learn a language with Genshin or with some other thing you love, be that anime or games or anything else. I know because I've largely done this, but you have to be smart about it. And I'm sorry, but a random app probably won't help. Again, I know because I've tried that as well. And yes, when I heard that there will be a collaboration with Genshin, I opened the dreaded Duo thing and then I had to install it on my phone because the Genshin Quest didn't load on PC. Anyway, my plan was to get back to learning Spanish, which is a language that I theoretically should be learning, but I don't want to. But the thing is that I had tried to learn Spanish in the past using Duolingo and failed. The app became boring and repetitive quite soon, and the only enjoyable things were the stories, which were actually quite good. Now that I was back for 3 days, I didn't really learn anything at all. You see, I haven't been doing my Spanish lessons for a while. But even so, I remember quite a lot from what I've learned. Now, that is, of course, not much, but it is definitely more than the days of the week, or how to say, ¿qué tal? So, my 3 days on the app were a complete waste of time. So, nothing new then. I did my Genshin quest and promptly deleted the app from my phone. But as I said in the beginning, you can learn a language using the things you love. And if you love Genshin, you are in extreme luck. The only thing is, you have to understand that Genshin will be just one of the pillars of your learning journey. It might even be the most important pillar, but nevertheless, it can't be the only one. Let's say that you want to learn Japanese. I'm taking this as an example because I myself speak Japanese, so it will be easier for me to show you things with it. So let's begin. Let's say that you are a complete novice who literally knows absolutely nothing of Japanese. Then, the first and only thing you need to do is to put your audio in Japanese. Nothing else. Believe me, just hearing Japanese while playing will help a lot. That is actually how I started learning Japanese. Not with Genshin though, but with anime. I spent months just listening to the language in my free time, doing something that I really enjoyed. That helped in two very important ways. First, the love I had for anime became attached to Japanese language. It is incredibly important to like or need the thing that you study. The way our brain works is that it makes us forget things that aren't truly important to us. If you love hearing or learning the language, you have a much better time remembering it. The second thing was that I was learning words without studying at all. Before I touched any textbook, I already knew quite a few words and expressions in Japanese. Itadakimasu, henshin, datte ba yo, and so on. Yes, at that point I was watching a lot of Naruto. And yes, these are all incredibly easy, but the fact was that when I finally started studying the language, I already recognized many things. Not only words, but pronunciation patterns, the way the sentences worked, and so on. And that made everything so much easier. Also, a bit of a side note here, if the language you want to learn isn't English, Japanese, Korean, or Chinese, you have to search for something else to listen to. Genshin only has those four dub options, unfortunately. Now, if you want to get serious and become a proper beginner, it will be time to get a textbook. As I told you before, Genshin cannot do this alone. Find a textbook that is good for you. If you're learning Japanese, I recommend Minna no Nihongo when you start, and the Shinkansen Master series when you get to intermediate or advanced level. The textbook will give a structure for your learning. You can do 1 or 2 lessons a week while you continue to play Genshin in Japanese. You see just how many words from the textbook you start to recognize in game practically immediately. And the feeling when you notice those words is amazing, I tell you. At this point, you should strive to complete what is considered beginner for that language. If that is Japanese, you will know hiragana and katakana, as well as 200 to 300 kanji. Now, if you want to continue on to the next step, you have to challenge yourself. Remember what I said about loving or needing something to make your brain remember it? The love and interest are already a powerful tool. However, the need, or let's call it with its real name now, fear, is irreplaceable. So, you have to change your language completely to Japanese in game. Try it for a day. Try to remember what is attack and crit rate in Japanese or the language you've chosen. This time Genshin has lots of options. Go artifact hunting and allow yourself to save only half of those artifacts. Then return your language to English and see if you've saved a defense goblet with flat HP and attack. Then I guess the next step is for you to return to this video to tell me how much you hate me. Another thing you can do is to keep the language always in Japanese during story quests. Hearing and reading the language at the same time is incredibly good. Try to imitate what characters say. Try to hear the same thing more than once if it is a difficult word or sentence. At this point, you will improve in lightning speed compared to someone who studies only in school or with a textbook. However, if you truly want to get to the last level, you have to keep your Genshin in Japanese all the time. No breaks, no forgiveness. It will be really hard for a while, but once that passes, you see yourself actually being able to talk and read and understand at a high intermediate or even advanced level of your selected language. Now, one last thing. Why am I recommending just a textbook and not school or private lessons? I myself studied Japanese at school later, but the things I learned there pale in comparison to what I did in my own time. I am not saying the teachers aren't important. In fact, I had an amazing teacher who helped me a lot at some points. And a great teacher will help you too, for sure. However, finding such a teacher is a difficult task, at least in my experience. On top of that, you have to pay not zero to maybe $30 to $50 total for textbooks, depending on how you get them, but hundreds or even thousands of dollars instead. That is something that I simply can't recommend. Let's remain free to play friendly, right? Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Bye bye!